Today's department is the Instagram department. You're gonna learn how to make money using Instagram. And I have with me Instagram expert, Taijaun Reshard, over $1 million in revenue by age 21, over 1 million followers grown across various accounts on Instagram from zero.
It's a lot easier to go viral today than it was 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. Some of my best posts on Instagram were the ones with minimal edits. This is digital real estate. This is an asset that can produce you income. This is an asset that you can even sell. I did it one time and I made profit and I was like, holy crap, like this works. The fastest way to scale and grow any business, any brand in today's day and age is using Instagram theme pages. Do this on the side, make it a hobby, make it a theme page about something that you actually enjoy, you actually are half passionate about, because if you do, you're more likely to see success.
I would say an opportunity for most people, because not a lot of people need to put their face on camera. And there's this whole opportunity to just be faceless.
We built and we sold a brand new Instagram theme page from 0 followers to over 400,000 followers, ended up selling it for $110,000.
So if somebody's trying to maybe get exposure, grow their Instagram, what are some things that you would tell them based on all of the data you've learned over these years?
It's something my mentor always tell me is,
I'm excited to get into this conversation, bro.
I'm excited too.
Thanks for being on the department.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Full disclosure, most people or everyone I've ever had on the show, I was telling you, is I've had a relationship with. And this is one of the first interviews I'm doing with somebody that was kind of a cosign. You know, our friend Neo hooked us up. And so we're just like, this is gonna be a very raw conversation because I have like almost no context. I understand that you crush it with Instagram, but let's quickly talk about kind of why Instagram. Why have you gone all in with Instagram in particular? There's so many social media platforms to choose from.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So the reason why I've kind of went all in with Instagram is because, just to give you a quick backstory, not to make it too long, I've been to entrepreneurship since I was in middle school. So I'm selling Jolly Ranchers out of a lunchbox. And I've been through various businesses. So in 9th grade, I started my own clothing brand and it went nowhere. And then what I decided to do was in 10th grade, I started drop shipping. 3 failed stores. On my 4th one, it finally popped. And with these dropshipping stores, the only avenue of driving revenue for these stores was Facebook. And at the time I was spending, keep in mind, this is like me, 16, 17 years old. I'm spending $1,000 a week on Facebook ads. I don't even know where that money came from, to be honest with you. And Facebook was just so expensive. So I was just on YouTube one day and I just found out something called Instagram shout out pages, theme pages. And I was like, whoa. There's these faceless Instagram pages where I can actually like tap into them, get posted on their page for pennies as in comparison to what Facebook would charge. Get in front of their audience and drive revenue for my brand. I did it one time and I made profit and I was like, holy crap, like this works. And from there, I realized like Instagram was far better for generating customers, generating revenue for my business at that time than Facebook ever was. I mean, now we have TikTok. I haven't tapped too much into that, but Instagram has just been that thing that worked for me. And you know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, that's good. So well, I think a lot of people who like listen and watch this podcast, their mindset right now is, you know, how to build an Instagram following and things like that with my face, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the best practices? Because like, just generally speaking, I would like this conversation to just talk about the various different ways we can monetize on Instagram.
Yeah, no.
So if somebody's trying to maybe get exposure, grow their Instagram, what are some things that you would tell them based on all of the data you've learned over these years?
Yeah, definitely. Something my mentor always tell me is if they don't know you, they can't flow you. A lot of times people create these Instagram accounts about themselves, their personal brands, their businesses, whatever it is, and they're never really saying what it is that they do, what it is that they offer, what it is that they sell. So number one is crafting a bio that speaks directly to who it is you want to serve. After you do that, curate content that relates around this. A lot of times people, let's just say you're in the, I don't know, let's say you're in the graphic design realm and you're like really good at graphic design, but you never show your work. You never show people that you actually do this thing. So number one is first being very clear in who it is that you serve or what you serve. Number two is actually post the thing that you do. Like be consistent, post, show up. It sounds crazy, but most people do not post content as it relates to what it is that they do. I don't know if it's because they're shy. I don't know if it's because they're scared or nervous.
I always like this, even service-based businesses, you don't even have to, you can literally set your phone And if you paint houses,
Exactly.
and then just post that, it's the easiest lead generation.
Exactly.
mechanism.
And with today's day and age, going to TikTok, seeing other people in the same industry as you, see what went viral for them, recreate it for your business. So being very clear in messaging on who it is that you serve. Number 2 is actually posting the content. Number 3 is something I like to do, and I only prefer to do this when I'm scaling, but this is something called OPA, other people's audiences. You and I may not have 1 million followers, but guess what? Somebody does. Let's leverage their audience. Let's get in front of their audience and promote our products and our services. And this is like by far the 3 fastest ways to scale and grow an Instagram brand.
And so getting in front of other people's audiences, I can imagine people are like, yeah, but that sounds like a little thirsty. Well, like, what's a natural way to make these either whether collaborations or collaborative
100%.
Like
what you'll realize is once you're posting content, once you're just showing up, the number one thing is just showing up. You'll realize that you may have a post or 2 go off, and a lot of times what ends up happening is you'll have celebrities, you'll have these big pages, you'll have these big accounts naturally share your stuff. I remember it was one time I had a piece of content go viral, and Bobby Shmurda just randomly reached out to me, and he's just showing love. And there's been countless celebrities that just genuinely showed love. If you go to an account like Snoop Dogg, if you go down his timeline, all he posts is videos of other people. He's naturally just showing love. If you show up, the person who you admire, the person you look up to the most, may be the one that actually ends up sharing your stuff. Like, for example, who is somebody in your industry that you naturally look up to? Like who
You're
would
like
that
generally
be?
asking.
Yeah, I'm generally like, who's somebody you actually look up to?
I definitely would say Myron was one of those guys.
Myron, exactly. Yeah. And do you think there's a way that you can create content in a way that it grabs his attention and makes him want to naturally share your stuff?
Well, I kind of was able to do that. I mean, I actually did an interview with him. And dude, every time I tag him, dude, he's always sharing it, all this stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, you have to let it naturally come. And that's just what it is. You can't be thirsty, like you said.
Yeah.
Don't be like, hey, can you share my stuff? No, just let it naturally come. And with Instagram, especially in today's day and age, you'll actually be surprised. I tell people this all the time. It's a lot easier to go viral today than it was 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Why?
And the reason for that is because, have you realized the TikTok boom? Yes. Everybody just loves TikTok, that dopamine hit whenever you get on TikTok. And let's say you post a video on TikTok. I don't know if you've ever had this happen to you before, but when TikTok came out, and it still does it till this day, what they do is you actually have a higher chance of having a video go viral on a brand new account. And I was doing a little bit of research, and the reason for this is because what happens once you get a viral video? You get likes, you get comments, you get followers, but most importantly, above all else, you get that dopamine hit. Oh, X, Y, and Z just followed you. You have 100 followers. Now you have 500. Now you have 1,000. And you're just having these random videos on a brand new account go viral. And I'm realizing that Instagram is constantly competing with TikTok, constantly competing with Snapchat. Do you remember when Instagram came out with stories and that everybody was like, was it stories? I think it was stories. And then people were like, oh, they're copying Snapchat.
Yeah, and then they copied Vine.
You know what I mean? That's what they do. They're naturally competing with each other. But since they're naturally competing with each other, since TikTok kind of set the record straight and they kind of made it accessible for people to go viral easier, you'll realize that Instagram makes it a lot easier for people to go viral in today's day and age. So above all else, if you want to get the attention of somebody you aspire, somebody that's in your industry that's killing it, just show up, be consistent, post content, and it'll naturally come.
That's really good. Like, you have any success stories from people you've been able to help that like are putting their face on Instagram? Or you? Oh
yeah. Some of probably people you know. Some of the people you probably know, they come to me whenever they have anything as it relates to like Instagram, showing up like, yo, what should I post? Should I post this or should I post this? Like, how should I do it? I'm the person that a lot of people come up to.
Yeah, that happens with me a lot with YouTube. You know, like, how's my YouTube going? Like, what do you think about this title and stuff like that? What do you find are like some of the biggest mistakes for the people that do come to you asking for that advice?
Good question. The biggest mistake would be, and this is going to sound kind of, it may be a little confusing, but posting the wrong content. And the reason I say it's a little confusing is because you simply don't know what's wrong versus what's right. Like, for example, you can see a thumbnail and say, nah, that's not it. But this one, oh yeah, that's gonna go. Same thing with maybe different editing styles. You just have that eye. And with me, I've kind of crafted this Instagram eye where I just know something's gonna go versus where something's not gonna go. And a lot of times what people will post, it goes back to what I was saying earlier about the 3 steps, 3 things that I recommend people go out there and do. it all falls back down to your content. I'll see people posting content, and this is just me being straight up. It's just like bad content. Like it doesn't retain my attention. It has a terrible hook to start. It's just not a good piece of content. So something I tell people all the time is something that's worked time and time for me again is shorter videos on Instagram. So instead of, you won't really see me posting 60-second clips on Instagram, 50-second clips, 45-second clips. I like to keep it short and sweet, 15 to 25-second clips. I like to hook their attention every single time. And whenever I'm posting something, every single thing that you see me post, there's a reason I'm posting it in the fashion I'm posting it. And then above all else, for those people that sell products, services, they have a business, whatever it is, a lot of times people don't even plug their stuff enough. So now I'm showing people like, yo, make sure you put a call to action in it. Make sure you start off with this hook. I promise you it's going to work. So yeah.
That's really good. I think I even struggle with inviting people. I think that's the word. I think because what kind of rubs me a wrong way is not wanting to always tell people what I'm doing. Yeah. But that's a limiting belief because people don't know what I'm doing. Not everyone sees what I'm doing. But I like the word invitation. Inviting. Like a call to action is essentially an invitation.
Yeah, exactly.
People wait to be asked. They're not going to move until you say something.
One thing I'll say about call to actions too, this is where a lot of people go wrong, and I appreciate that you bring up that point. A lot of times we feel like, or a lot of times we sometimes may think that we always have to be salesy, like buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this. Your call to action doesn't have to be buy this, or buy this. Your call to action could be as something as simple as saying, hey, save this video. Fun fact, if you scroll down my Instagram, one of my go-to call to actions is actually a tip. At the very beginning of my videos, you'll see that I'll put save this at the top of it. And when I started doing this, I will go into my Instagram analytics and I see that people will save my stuff 300 to 400% more than they were saving it before. Wow. And one of the fastest ways to go viral on Instagram right now is to get saves. Because when you get saves, what does this tell Instagram? Right. Oh, they like this content. Oh, and another thing that Instagram uses to measure success as a company as a whole is how can we get people to come back to this platform? If you save something, that's an interaction that tells us, hey, you're going to come back to this. And if you can captivate a way to get more saves, what you're going to realize is more people are going to come back to your content. But above all else, Instagram realizes this, their analytics, their AI software, whatever you want to call it, their data analytics, they see this and they're going to push that out to way more people.
Dude, that's really good. Are you looking to take your content more serious this year in your business or your brand? Or maybe you're looking to figure out better ways that you can monetize the content that you're putting out to convert your viewers into customers and all those various things. Well, I'm excited to announce my next challenge is coming up, the Content to Cash Challenge. We're gonna be breaking down everything you need to know to make sure that you crush content this year. No more uploading videos and crossing your fingers. That's not a strategy. And I'm gonna be giving you the mindset, the tool set, and the skill set needed to kill it this year, both on YouTube and on vertical platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and things like that. So I would encourage you to jump into the challenge. And if you get a VIP ticket, I'm gonna be doing live Q&A every single day of the challenge. So I'll get your personalized questions answered on these Zoom calls, and I'd love to see you there. Jump in, the link is in the description and in the show notes. Let's get back into the combo. You know, I was talking with another Instagram expert. You know, she's actually a lot older than both of us. Her name's Shalene Johnson, and she makes a lot of money teaching Instagram. You know, yeah. But she's saying like Instagram now it's annoying to be on the platform. Like from somebody who she's there from the beginning. Yeah, and it's because of like people just being too trendy, and it's like the same emojis, the same jump cuts, the same backdrop. You know, what's your perspective on trendiness on Instagram?
Yeah, I like that. So I'm a mix in between both, right? I 100% see your point. If every single thing you post is about a trend, you're digging your grave a lot sooner than you think. Yeah. And the reason I say that you're digging your grave a lot sooner than you think, if the only thing that you're posting is trends, is let me bring this back into YouTube terms, right? So you can kind of get it. Think about all the YouTube channels where all you see, the only thing they do is follow trends. How long do they last? Yeah. It's going to be only a matter of time before you die down. Instead of focusing on trends, let's focus on how can we create a cult-like community who's going to like our stuff, who's going to show up, who's going to support us. And we do this by not following trends, right? So
good.
just to give people actionable advice, something that they can go out there and do. What should your content strategy kind of look like? How much should you post? How many pieces of content should be trend? How many pieces of content should be just giving game informational, things like that. I like to follow this one thing, 75-25. 75% of it is going to be informational, giving game. 25% of it is going to be trends, because I don't want to blow up off of trends. That's not what I want to blow up off of. I want to blow up off of my information, because these are going to be the people that are coming back, supporting, liking my stuff. If you come and follow me because of some trend I did back 3 months ago, I mean, you're probably not going to stay long enough. And I'm not saying it's not possible to last with trends. It is. But if that's the only part of your content strategy, you're literally digging your grave.
Yeah. And honestly, because sometimes it's not even like it's their approach. They're approaching it in a trend like fashion. Like here's just one pure example. Alex Hermosi made these emojis or this like, caption emoji thing very popular. Yeah. And then he changes to a yellow box and black text. And then immediately I start seeing people change to a yellow box and black text. And personally, I don't do any of that stuff. I just keep it simple. Like, and I actually like using Instagram's features. Like I put actual YouTube Instagram text and Instagram auto captions and stuff, which I actually think helps.
No, 100%.
Like using stickers and stuff, all that stuff. But yeah, their approach oftentimes is like, I'm going to do it like this person. But like you say, in order to build a cult-like following, there's something about just like doing just the pureness of the information you want to provide and say it the way you would say it.
No, and to add to your point about the Hormozy style is what they call it. The same font, the yellow highlights, and then the emojis that pop up on the screen. I agree with you on that. Like, if I see there's a trend going on, like I could literally show you a message I was having with one of my editors, and I was like, yo, bro, like this just looks like the trend that's going on right now, this design trend. If you scroll on Instagram long enough, you're going to see every single coach or influencer, like they have this exact same design style trend going on right now. And I'm like, bro, I'll be honest with you, this stuff looks good, it's fire, but this isn't what I'm going for. I want to go for the complete opposite. I don't want to look like everybody else. And if you look at my page, you'll realize that I try to go the complete opposite of what everybody else is doing. If I see everybody's using this font and this certain style, I'm going to go the opposite way, because at the end of the day, it's not about doing what everybody else is doing. In fact, when you do what everybody else is doing, I feel like it's a lot easier to kind of, how should I say this? When you're just looking at and you're doing everything that everybody's doing, it's a lot easier to hide yourself in the crowd. Instead of sticking out, in order to stick out, you have to do something different. Like if you see everybody using this one font and they're using this bold, stern font, use a softer one, use a lighter one. Like you said, use Instagram captions. Like, and the crazy thing is, to add to that point, I've realized some of my best posts on Instagram were the ones with minimal edits. Were the ones where it wasn't even recorded off of a professional camera, it was recorded off of a phone. The person that does the least with their content, like they don't try to stick up to these trends and all this stuff, I realize they go a lot further. I mean, it could be all coincidence, but that's something I've realized.
What would you say with intention? Like, what's the intention difference between stories versus reels?
Yeah, good question. So stories is more so to, I like to use reels as an informative way to invite you. Reels are an informative way to invite you. I like to use my stories as a way to remind you. So I'm inviting you, then I'm reminding you. So I'm going to use my reels, I'm going to use my posts to invite you, and I'm going to use my stories to remind you of who I am, what it is that I do, show you my testimonial, show you my success, show you all these things so you constantly know who I am. There's this statistic, and it says on average, somebody has to see you 7 times before they buy anything from you. Something I tell people all the time is I can go viral every single day, and I wouldn't really care too much about it, because I genuinely don't care if you buy something from me today, tomorrow, next week, next month, or next year. You're going to buy something from me one day. And going viral is cool, don't get me wrong, but I think what's cooler than going viral is actually turning those views into people that promote, or not promote, but use your products, use your services, actually tap into you, actually support you. And I think that's what's more important than everything else. So our reels, we're going to use that to kind of get the eyes on who we are, give information. My stories, I'm going to use to remind you every single day of who I am.
I love that. That's really good. Can you help people optimize their bio? I think a lot of the times people think putting cute phrases, I don't know, things like that is the way to go. But, you know, God first, you know, I don't know. But what would you say, like, what's a good way for an entrepreneur or somebody doing one of the things we'll talk about, theme pages, like what's best practices for optimizing your Instagram?
Yeah, that's
bio?
a good question. So the very first thing I'm doing is my name. The actual, if you click edit profile and then I think it says full name or name, where my name is, I'm putting my first name and then I'm gonna put what it is that I do. So for example, if you look me up right now at Taijaun, it's gonna say Taijaun Reshard and it's gonna say Instagram marketing coach. So this way, anybody that's on an Instagram platform that's looking for Instagram marketing coach, they're gonna find me that way. Fun fact, the other day, I was looking, or not the other day, but like a couple of weeks ago, I was looking for an executive assistant and I just typed in virtual assistant. I typed in executive assistant and I just saw a whole bunch that popped up and I literally messaged one and got on the phone with them and hired them just like that.
Dang.
So it's super important that whatever it is that you do, whatever it is that you offer, whatever it is that you sell, or whatever it is that you want to be known for above all else, it's searchable. And the only way for it to be searchable is putting it in your name. So after you have that, the very first thing, I tell people this all the time, is please do not put everything that you do. Please, there's people that you'll go to their page, will say entrepreneur, God first, real estate developer, everything,
Podcaster.
right? Podcaster, like they'll put everything and you're hurting yourself more than you're helping yourself. I tell people this all the time, that Instagram, your Instagram is supposed to speak for you when you can't speak for yourself. So the very first line of your Instagram bio should say exactly what it is that you do, how do you serve people, what it is that you sell, or whatever it is that you want to be kind of known for. Mm-hmm. So the name is going to have that title. So for my example, it's Instagram marketing coach. My first line is going to be I help blank do blank. Right after that, something that I've realized, and this all depends on who it is, your brand, what it is that you want to offer, what it is that you sell, what it is that you want to do. The very next line is going to be authority, trust. So for example, if you have an e-commerce site, it's going to say, hey, over 50,000 customers, or it's going to say free shipping worldwide, or it's going to say, if you're an entrepreneur, it's going to say as seen in blank. If you're a YouTuber and you want more people to subscribe, support you, you're going to put 384,000 subscribers on YouTube. Let that be known. Like, you should be known as an authority when people first see this page. Right after you have that, then you're going to have a call to action. What is it that you want people to do when they come to your page? Hey, subscribe to my YouTube, hit the link down below. Hey, get my blank, whatever it is that you want to sell or whatever it is you want them to promote. I mean, not promote, but interact with. Yeah. And then for your link in your bio, this is where a lot of people mess up. They have like 1 million links in there. For the love of God, do not put 1 million links in the link in your bio on Instagram. Just put one. There's this one book that I was reading, I believe it's called The One Thing. And he says in the very beginning, the very first page, it says, if you want to catch a rabbit, he says, if you want to catch a rabbit, don't chase two. Because if you chase two, you'll never catch one. Yeah. What is the one thing that you want people to do when they come to your page? What is that absolute one thing you want them to do? Granted, we could want them to subscribe to the podcast, sign up for my newsletter. We could want them to do all these things. But what is the most important action that somebody can take today? Let's assume that 10,000 people can take this action right now today. What is the one action you would want them to take? And that should be the only link in your bio directing them there. And if you do that exactly, you follow that exact framework for your bio, I promise you're going to see a lot more conversions in whatever it is that you want to sell, do, promote, or show.
That's fire. Neo, what would you say? What should be my one thing? Get on my newsletter, or like jump on my, catch the podcast?
Jump on your, I mean, they both valuable, so I probably would say the podcast, because you could link the newsletter, or you could link the podcast in the newsletter too. But I feel like I'll probably do the newsletter because I could get the leads. Yeah, I'll probably do newsletter.
What would you say?
Podcast.
But he known as a podcast guy, so I'll probably
No, 100%. You could be known, and I could see that getting the leads.
I mean, I'm making the call to action in the podcast too, so I get it. It's like the long tail idea,
exactly.
But when I think about if somebody just gave me their email and I had a sequence, that's pretty powerful. But
or you know what's probably be best for you, and this is something that a lot of people overlook and don't do enough: freebies. Give people free stuff. So maybe it could be get this free guide.
You know what my issue is with that?
What
is running out of people wanting that thing?
No, I think that's a limiting belief.
Okay.
I think that's a limiting belief. How could people, and I can see that, and this is under the pretense of, let's say you've been pushing it for a month straight, and it's like, okay, like, I get it. I already got the guide. Now what? I can understand it in that pretense, but if you're constantly like on my Instagram right now, if I were to show you, we reach anywhere from 2 to 3 million people per month. These are 2 to 3 million new people every single month.
That's true, yeah.
So it's like I'm going to capitalize off of that because I want these people to come to my podcast. I want these people to watch my podcast. I feel like the podcast is more valuable than getting a email, to be completely frank with you.
I feel that.
Or if the email is important to you, give a freebie. Why? Because you can give this freebie, and inside of your freebie, you can link to your podcast. So that's why if you were, probably freebie would be best, and then link them to wherever it is that you want them to go after that.
For sure. Okay. I mean, email probably number one then.
Yeah.
And then from that point, they'll get access to everything else.
Exactly.
That's good. All right, dude. All right. You're really the guy to teach on theme pages. I think some way people can also know what you're talking about is feature accounts. And I think I've been watching some stuff where you've been talking about this opportunity on Instagram. And I would say an opportunity for most people, because not a lot of people need to put their face on camera. Not a lot of people need to be the subject matter in their videos. And there's this whole opportunity to just be faceless.
Yeah. So faceless theme pages is what I like to call it. Instagram theme pages, right? And let's not even talk about the side of owning these, but let's talk about the side of, let's say there's an entrepreneur that's watching this. Let's say there's a small business. The fastest way to scale and grow any business, any brand in today's day and age is using Instagram theme pages. You know Fashion Nova, right? Whether you like Fashion Nova or not, you're going to see Fashion Nova every single day. And that's because what is Fashion Nova's number one social media strategy? It's reaching out to these big pages saying, hey, would you promote our stuff in exchange for X? And using these pages is more powerful than anything. But once I've realized this, once I've made like a good amount of money from using these pages, once I've realized that I was spending, like I've easily spent over $100,000 getting posted on these pages, I thought to myself one day, I was like, hey, instead of paying these people to get posted on their page, what if people paid me to get posted on my page? And on top of that, I get to post my own stuff for free. How would life look then? And then that's when I explored the idea of owning one of these pages. And for those people that may be confused, what is a theme page? A theme page is a faceless page on Instagram that posts specific content for a specific group of people. So that sports highlights page that you follow, Bleacher Report, that's an Instagram theme page. That meme page that you follow, Daquan, that's an Instagram theme page.
Watches, Jeeps.
Exactly.
I mean,
like, I follow a Rolex account. I think it's called Rolexaholics. That's an Instagram theme page, right? These are all like, anything that we like, there's more than likely an Instagram theme page behind it.
And you probably, and watch somebody watching or listening to this, you 100% follow multiple theme pages.
Oh, 100%.
I think we just don't think that's what we're following.
Exactly.
And we don't think that we can use our passion or our business to build an Instagram theme page.
Exactly. Yeah. And I feel like that's a misconception. And I think it's more so people just don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And that's perfectly fine. And the fastest way to scale your business or brand, let's say outside of the box of using these pages, is owning one. Like, I forgot what it was.
And when you say own one, what does that look like? You mean like what own one versus build one?
Yeah, so same thing.
Okay.
But owning one versus using one. Using one is when we're paying these pages to get posted on our account. Owning one is where we build it, whether we build it or we buy one. We build it up from scratch, meaning you create a brand new Instagram account. You type in the name for this Instagram theme page. Obviously, this is after you decide the niche that you want to be in. And then you start to post content consistently in order to grow the brand, in order to grow the page. Something okay. I have an unconventional approach when it comes to theme pages. And maybe this is why I see success a lot more with these pages than most people. And that's because I don't treat these Instagram theme pages like just pages. I treat these Instagram theme pages like brands, like businesses. Like, this is digital real estate. Yeah. Like, this is an asset that can produce you income. This is an asset that you can even sell. And there's seriously money to be made behind it. In January of 2023 to June of 2023, we built and we sold a brand new Instagram theme page from 0 followers to over 400,000 followers. Ended up selling it for $110,000 for one Instagram theme page. So
how long did that take?
6 months.
Wow. That's cool.
It's definitely possible.
It's such a cool thing for somebody to do off to the side too.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
If you're a W-2 employee, imagine spending 6 months when you're off your clock or maybe all weekend long and lining up your posts or something.
Exactly.
6 months later.
And that's how that's how I like to think of it. Like, this doesn't have to be a job. It doesn't have to be something that you're like, oh, I'm gonna quit my job and quit my whole life and I'm just gonna go all in on this. No, don't do that at all. Do this on the side. Make it a hobby. Make it a theme page about something that you actually enjoy, you actually are half passionate about. Because if you do, you're more likely to see success.
Right.
Like, there's this new trend, this new niche that I see coming up. And I was going to use it, but I guess I'll just give it to the people. And it's short form content editing. So what do I mean by that? There's these faceless Instagram theme pages, and it's literally giving you assets. It's giving you packs. It's giving you all these freebies of how to edit your videos faster, how to make them better, how to make them more engaging.
Dude, Art, you listening? This could be, you can make an extra 100K this year.
So there's literally people like, I can call out a page right now, Arts and Media, I believe is what it's called. And he's literally going out there and he's giving out these free packs. He's giving out these free things. And the crazy thing is, this is how I know it works. And this is a brand new page that he probably started less than 6 months ago. What he's doing is he's giving out all of these things. And then when people want their videos edited, they want all these things because they see him giving out so much value. He seems like an authority, even though we don't know who he is. People are paying him thousands of dollars to edit their videos on a retainer every single month.
Cool. So he has an agency.
Exactly.
And the way he's marketing his agency is by giving away faceless tips.
Exactly. And bringing them back home to his agency. So this works for, like, this is why I treat it like a brand. Like, what is your brand? What is your goal in Instagram, social media as a whole? Because theme pages is much deeper than just Instagram. It's TikTok, it's YouTube, any social media platform you can think of. Every single social media platform has faceless theme pages. Yeah. Once again, theme pages is a faceless page that posts specific content for a specific group of people. So we can tap into this. Let's get creative. Let's think about how can we attract our people, and then what it is that we can offer them in order to make to make whatever it is they're consuming come to fruition.
Dude, I love that. This is honestly opening my brain. I have a friend who started a watch company, and he's making like fire watches. It almost is like an AP mixed with a Patek. Yeah. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
All right. But he started a brand account for his watch. And almost what he could and should do is start a watch theme page.
Exactly.
And then post other watches and then seed his watch.
That's literally exactly what I would do. So you're catching on.
Yeah, no,
so
that's fire.
Just posting other watches, showing like, yo, what do you think about this cool watch styles? And this whole time you can build up a page of, let's just say 200,000 people that are into watches. And guess what? You throw your stuff in there, you seed it in there, and now you have 2, 3, 4, 5,000 likes on a post of your watch, garnishing new eyes to this brand that you already have and own, and bringing them to where you want them to come, which is your actual watch page or your watch store. Because at the end of the day, all we're doing is grabbing attention. Right. I tell people this all the time. We're in the day and age of attention. Attention is the new currency. And when you grab that, you can do anything with it. Think about it. You're building this page to 1 million, 2, 3, 4, 5 million followers. These aren't followers that you necessarily own, but these are followers that you can get in front of with whatever content you want, whenever you want to. But above all else, you can actually make money from this page, which is why I love them so much.
Dude, that's really good. I love that. Do you know about fair use laws and like what constitutes from something being ripped and like, I don't know. Like,
no. That's a really good question, bro. So something that we haven't dealt with, and I'll be just me being fully transparent. I haven't dealt with this until this year, until like, I want to say July, and it happened to me one time, and it happened to like one of my other students, and their content got like, I guess because with theme pages, just to clear the air for people who may be confused, you're not creating the content yourself. You're basically building these big Instagram theme pages just by reposting content. And since you're reposting content, you're in essence taking other people's content. So since we're taking other people's content, what I've realized is all you have to do is give them proper credit. So say, hey, if John posts this, you'll put credits to @John. But if John asks you to remove this, which typically they don't, because it's a win-win for both parties,
100.
You get more attention to
especially when you grow. It's like, hey, thanks for featuring me.
Exactly. It's typically a win-win for both parties. So typically people aren't like a stickler about it. But for those people who are, just be on top of it. If they're asking you to remove it, just remove it. But 9 times out of 10, that rarely happens to you. This year that happened to us, and I'll be transparent, we got one of our accounts taken down because of it. Luckily, I was able to get get it back. But this just made us rethink the way that we do things, and we're more on it because the person that did do it, it's under speculation. I'm pretty sure it was him. I didn't realize, but he sent like 3-4 emails saying, "Hey, can you remove this?" And I take full accountability. Yeah. Exactly, I overlooked it, and I don't know how he did it, but it worked. But just be on top of it because you have to think about it. I don't really watch the news much. Do you watch the news? Yeah, right. But there's like news outlets like ABC News, WSB TV. What do these big news outlets do? They're ripping stories from current events that are happening. They don't own these stories. Like the Young Thug case, every single news outlet is ripping that story because they know they can go viral off of it. This is the exact same thing we're doing with our theme pages. We're using the content that's already out there. We're giving proper credit to whoever owns it, and we're just using it.
That's
so
good.
Yeah, just be on top of it.
Yeah, my mind's on the watch thing. Like literally, because I watch I watch YouTube content around watches.
Yeah.
And their B-roll is like insane.
Yeah.
Like the footage of watches. And just if you paid a VA to go to these YouTube channels even, and then just create your, custom reels also.
Exactly.
And give credit to these creators. So you're taking it from YouTube and then you can put it on Instagram, but then also reshare and then seed the thing that you sell. Like,
exactly.
It's awesome.
And once again, it's a win-win for all parties. It's a win for you because guess what? You're putting out content that your audience is going to love. It's a win for the person who created it because now they're getting attention. And it's kind of like YouTube reaction channels.
Yeah.
Like they're literally leveraging other people's, I don't know what the DMCA is for that kind of, but I don't think reaction channels, don't they still get monetized or no?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think if there's music or something, if it's longer than 8 seconds. So
yeah.
If they're reacting to something longer than 8 seconds that has copyright, then I think they have to either stop at 8 seconds or something like that.
Got you. But you'll see that people are literally using other people's stuff and just reacting to it.
It actually is React content is its own, it's blowing up because people are more likely to watch commentary around an event versus the actual event. And that's just the way our brains work.
And then sometimes the reaction videos go more viral than the actual video.
Facts, yeah. Dude, okay, so something I'm thinking about right now is let's say coffee. I actually love coffee.
Yeah.
That's an understatement. But I hypothetically could, hire a VA to start a coffee theme page or just help me repost other coffee stuff. What would be something I could sell if I don't have a coffee business?
Yeah. So let me first answer that. It was something that you said that stuck out to me. I can't just go over it. It was getting a VA just to create this page for me. I want to stop you right there.
Yeah.
We can get a VA to source this content for us. And when you say VA, are we talking about third world? Or are we talking about first? So if it's a VA in a third world country, I recommend that they can create your content and curate your content for you, meaning going out there finding the content for you. Another tool that you can use is like Page Growth or even TikTok. But what I would do is I would never, and I mean never, have somebody in like a third world country posting on my account, because what I've realized is with the dozens of accounts I've ran, wherever you post your content is typically where you're going to garnish the most eyes for your audience.
Okay.
And I mean, truth be told, people out of you don't want somebody in the Philippines posting content. All you're attracting is a Filipino audience. Okay. Nothing wrong with Filipinos, but they're simply not a buying audience.
Yeah.
So we can get a VA to curate the content for us, but for somebody actually posting on our account, I recommend I'll do it myself, or obviously get somebody in the US or Canada.
Is there any tools that people can use to repost on IG?
Yeah, I'm actually against third-party tools.
Okay.
Instead, what I like to actually use is the actual Instagram app. They have a native feature now where you can schedule posts. So I'll do everything in there. I wouldn't use like...
Well, I mean, I found a coffee video from this other coffee theme page and I want to post it on mine.
So it's so cool. So let's say you found another a coffee video off of a coffee theme page you want to post it on yours, right? One, I will use a tool that allows you to download that Instagram video. You can just look up Instagram video downloader.
Yeah.
And then you would now have the actual source file. And now you'll post this piece of content on your page.
Okay.
And give credit to whoever the original owner of the content is. Now, if you're ripping it from another theme page, don't give them credit, but give credit to the actual person who owns the content. But how would you make money from it? That's a really good question. There's a plethora of ways you can make money from a page like this, but off the top of my head, one of the ways that I can see you making money from this is not even you selling your own product, but what if you garnish this big audience of people of just straight coffee lovers, and instead of you selling your own product, you partner with companies like Nestle, you partner with big coffee brand companies.
You just offended me by saying Nestle. But no, keep going. I know what you mean though.
But basically partnering with these big brands and selling, hey, we'll promote whatever it is. Sponsorships is basically what it is.
Sponsorship,
it's sponsorships. You'll take sponsorship deals. But the thing is, since this is a page that posted nothing but coffee, guess what? You can charge a premium because their target audience is right in the power of your own hands.
That's good.
Just like that. So I wouldn't sell my own product. Can you? Absolutely. But instead, what I would do is I'll go out there for those sponsorships. And that's where the real money is to be made, in my opinion.
Dude, that's funny because like I have a friend, somebody who I do content for the same channel, Think Media. His name's Nolan, and he started a basketball faceless channel. And in about 5 months, I think it's been 5 or 6 months, he got his first brand deal. It was like a $15,000 brand deal.
That's fire.
And it's cool. Like it's cool that like it is the AdSense route, and then trying to get that sponsorship. But I actually like, it sounds like easier. Instagram's a lot easier. Yeah, like, it really is, honestly.
And the reason I say Instagram, and the reason I would say Instagram is a lot easier is because Instagram, you're just reposting content.
Yeah.
For like YouTube, for example, because that's the only thing I know that produces videos. You have to get all these other, like, you have to actually create. I don't think you can rip videos on YouTube, right? You can't just rip them and say they're yours.
Well, I mean, it's a compilation of stuff. So again, you just have to, the edit has to be very.
Edits have to be on point. You have to have somebody speaking on it. Yeah. You probably have to have a script, all that stuff. But Instagram, like you said, it's just reposting content. So it definitely
that's fire, dude. I love this. This is a dope combo. Because like I think again for the entrepreneur, consider, if you don't like posting videos, consider a theme page around the type of thing. Dude, I think about real estate agents.
Exactly.
Talk about like having the theme page of real estate videos in your local town, and that's what the theme page is. Las Vegas, mansions.
It's crazy. There's this one theme page, and it's in Buckhead. I think it's called Buckhead Modern Estates or something like that. All they're doing is posting houses in Buckhead. Yeah. Let's say a realtor wanted to actually go out there and promote their own stuff. Like that is a heaven. Like that is the perfect place to go, because anybody that's following this page obviously is into Buckhead, is into the area of Buckhead, and is into the kind of houses that are there. So realtors, real estate, people can get really, really creative with these pages. That's really cool. And that's what I love about it. And then especially with the use of artificial intelligence nowadays, it's just insane. Like the kinds of, I can't make this stuff up. I literally seen a page the other week, like a week or two ago, and it's a dude talking about smoothies. Like the smoothie guy, I think that's his name, and he's just posting smoothies. You can literally start pages in anything, man, and these pages are really, really good.
You were on David's podcast, Shan's podcast, and you shared about a deal that took place.
Yeah.
And it just shows that there is value in this. What was that transaction?
Yeah, so an Instagram theme page named Daquan sold for $85 million. An Instagram theme page, all they were posting was memes all day. And the crazy thing is it's not the fact that it sold for $85 million. And I mean, that is crazy, don't get me wrong. But the craziest part about that all is somebody created a free Instagram account. They did something they love. They just posted about content they love, which is memes. They posted consistently. They stayed at it for 5, 6, 7 years. And at the end, they were able to capitalize off of it, doing something they love. I think I heard you say that a little bit earlier, but doing something you love, and it doesn't even feel like a job at this point.
Right.
And to be able to build this asset and sell it for that much money is freaking insane. But it just goes back to show you that attention is the new currency in today's day and age. If you can garnish that attention in whatever niche it is, it could be a very beautiful thing for somebody.
Yeah, and you don't have to be the one garnering that with communication skills.
Exactly.
With talking on camera. I think that's a journey, and if that's something you want to do and like to do, I think you should go about it. But it just opens up the opportunity for maybe like introverts.
I was just about to say that. I think this is the best business model for introverts.
Yeah.
It's low risk and there's potential for high reward. You don't ever have to show your face. You don't have to create the content. You're literally just getting paid for reposting content on Instagram. So it's definitely perfect for introverts.
Who bought the that account? Do you know?
Yeah, it was a record label. So Warner, I believe Warner record label bought the account for $85 million. And the reason they bought the reason they bought it was they said that their audience, they were targeting, I think it was millennials, and 85% of Daquan's followers were actually millennials. So they figured they can get right in front of their audience in the best place possible, which is Instagram. So once again, attention, they realized they had their attention on this one page, and they realized they can get in front of them. $85 million is insane, but
it's wild.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so good. Building your business with Instagram theme pages, so brilliant. Dude, there's something you mentioned, and I know you just easily, just went over it. So you say you're 22.
Yeah.
And you were like, my mentor says this. And then you told me that you joined, Neo's mastermind at like 19. Which, I know the cost of that thing. Dude, how did you get exposed to mentorship and coaching early on to the point where you started paying, like legit paying for it?
Yeah. So funny story. I was in college, right? Georgia, what is it called? Georgia Perimeter. And I was in my first semester of college, and I'll be honest, man, me and school, we don't get along. We do not get along in any way, shape, or form. And I was like, let me put school to a halt. And I've always been into entrepreneurship. I've always been into getting in the rooms. I've always been into networking. Networking is literally the key to success, just getting around the right people. And I just so happened to fall into this room just at the same time as my first semester of college was ending. And it was an opportunity. And I was like, hey, this mentorship is X amount of dollars. And I'll be honest with you, I was scared. I mean, I'll just say the price of the mentorship, it was $50,000. I'll be honest with you, 19 going on 20 years old, I don't even know where I was going to get that money from. I was scared, like crapless, let's just say. And he said this one thing and it stuck out to me. He said, a lot of times we ask, what if it doesn't work? But we never ask, what if it does work? And when that one message just stuck in my head, I was like, hey, you know what? Back at this time, I was living with my mom still. And I've always knew how to make money. I was a business owner, but I realized I got comfortable. No matter what I did, I would always have a roof over my head, clothes on my body, food on the table. So I didn't have to work. I didn't have to do anything. And I said to myself, I'm gonna take this leap of faith. And if it doesn't work out, then so be it. It is what it is. But if it works out, then hey, I'm lit. And let's just say ever since then, I've never been back to college.
That's fire. And then what was like probably the biggest takeaway you got from that year time while you were in that mentorship?
Yeah, the biggest thing I took away from it was taking action, committing now, figuring out the rest later. A lot of times we stay on the idea of something for so long, like I don't know if I should do this, but what if it doesn't work? What if this happens? What if this happens? We start to create problems in our head that haven't even appeared yet. And it's like, that's the number one. I feel like that's probably one of the top causes of why people get stagnant, not only in life, but in business. You create these problems that aren't there. And it made me realize that just commit now, figure out the rest later. Yeah. So what if it doesn't work? So what if it's not perfect? So what if it doesn't turn out how you want it to be? As long as you did the thing, and as you start to do the thing, refine it later. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Just start shooting the gun and then aim afterwards. And that's kind of the biggest takeaway I got from that.
Dude, that's just really cool. It's like really refreshing to hear, you know, as an old millennial. I'm not an old millennial, but you know, I hire Gen Z, you know, and I have my observations about the way they think and how they communicate and how they like to be communicated to. And I just would say you're like a rare breed. You know, you're well-spoken, to be exposed to those things early on, but you to like, I don't know, whatever that you had in you to be like, all right, I'm going to do it.
I appreciate that.
It's fire, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I appreciate you. Thanks for sharing all that game. What do you have that if people want to learn more, how can they tap in with you? So
you can connect with me on Instagram at Taijaun, Taijaun. I'm also having a free class where I'm going to be breaking it down step by step, how to build, how to start, how to scale and grow one of these theme pages. And also I'm having a challenge, igmoneychallenge.com, where I'm going to be bringing on some of the biggest Instagram theme pages that I'm talking about millions. I'm not talking about just 7 figures. I'm talking about 8 figures as well, just straight killing it with faceless theme pages. And we're going to be having them on speaking, giving game, showing people how it's done, how they got started, but most importantly, what they need to do to get to that level.
It's fire. What are your goals this year? What do you want to accomplish?
No, that's a really good question. One of my goals this year, are we talking about life or business?
Life and business. Okay.
Life, I want to acquire my first property.
Cool.
Business, I'm actually starting a brand new Instagram theme page, and my goal with it is I want to build like a whole case study around it, build it from 0 to having 1 million followers in less than a year, and making 6 figures. That's my number one. Like, that's what I'm focused on, because I want to show people that this is possible. This isn't something that worked years ago and doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
This isn't something that's saturating you can't get into now. I want to show people that this is still possible to do today. And that's probably like the number one goal I have on my bulletin board. That's like, yo, we're gonna do this. Like, we're gonna make it work.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna do it. I mean,
yeah, I appreciate
for
that,
sure.
man.
All day. But dude, I appreciate you being on, for real.
Nah, definitely. I appreciate you for having me, brother.
Now, if you want some action items from this podcast, you should tap into the newsletter, where we actually condense all these conversations that we have on podcasts and just put it in a bulleted form. If that's the type of person you are and you just want it straight in your email, then I would encourage you to get on the newsletter. Link in the description. Appreciate you listening and watching. We'll catch you in the next episode.